if you want to continue to grow and have repeat customers, you want people to think your name and your brand.
We're attracting the right clients for you, the people that you want to work with or are your ideal people to work with. There is a science behind that.
You'll feel this pull. I need to start thinking about who I want to work with. And that's where branding can help attract those people.
Progress over perfection.
Yes.
Like, just one thing. Don't do it all. You can't boil the ocean.
Hey there, my little biz besties. Welcome back to In Good Company, where real entrepreneurs share real growth stories. Thanks for liking and subscribing to my channel. Let's get into it.
Branding is one of my, it's a hot topic for me right now because, we have the show, we have the podcast, we have an accounting firm. And years ago, when I embarked on this entrepreneur journey, I didn't put much thought into colors, into font, vibe. I didn't put much thought into the vibe. I was like, I have a skill and I'm going to tell people about it and the vibe will come later. It'll all make sense later is what I just kept thinking. I put together little business cards on Vistaprint. I was really proud of them because, my name was on a card and it was cool. Well, years later, we actually just went through a rebrand and it was out of necessity because people were saying things like, I didn't know that you had a firm and a show. They're wildly different. They don't communicate. And I wouldn't have known how important that was years ago. But now it makes sense that people want to know who we are, what we stand for based on brand. And so I started trying to do this myself. I said, well, if I can start a company, I could do a brand. I know who I am. Silly, because there's so much that goes into a brand. I had no idea. So Nikki, my first question, I told you I had like a voice note and I was like, ask her this. With your experience, what you're doing and flower bud, we're going to say flower bud. Is that?
Flower buds.
Flower buds. Oh.
Yeah. Like we're buds. That's we're friends.
So cute. Okay.
Yeah. I want to make a community with my people. Yeah.
I love that. Okay. Flower buds. What would Nikki say is a strong online presence looking like today in 2025? Because I know it changes a lot, but today, what would you say a strong online presence looks like?
Right. So it can look like a lot of different things depending on what your strengths are when it comes to like consistency of, where your marketing is coming from. So, some people are using social media, some people are using blog. I definitely recommend blogs for upkeep on websites. That's a very strong way to build SEO. However, when it comes to like the foundation of a brand, what I say is making sure that you're consistent with your colors, your typefaces, your logos. You're going to need several different variations of that. So places where they can fit in different locations. So like on your social media, different places that they're smaller or larger or whatever. And then also just consistent use of either photography, like even if you're using stock photos, thinking about what kind of images you're using. If you're getting photos of maybe, a professional photographer's coming in, that's fantastic. Get a body of photos where you're working or doing things and kind of showing you in progress.
Yeah, I love that.
And those can be used on social media and on your website. It just helps keep consistency there. But definitely a website. A lot of people overthink it or don't think about it. It's like one or the other. They're like either going like way too hard on it or they're not thinking about it at all. So a website is really important to have as a home base. It's your way of having like controlling your content and making sure that there's a place for people to go and learn about you and understand you. And I'm all about authentic marketing and communicating who you are as a person. And so, explaining your core values and talking about your mission, all of those things should be involved on your website for people to get a better picture of who you are. So in my opinion, strong foundation is a great brand, consistent brand, and a website.
Okay, consistency and website. So
Hmm.
for you to have this answer, I mean, you didn't just start this company yesterday. You you've been in this industry for some time.
Hmm.
Talk to me how you got here. Where were you a year ago? What were you doing?
A year ago.
Even
So I
further back.
so this the business I started in 2021.
Okay.
It's kind of evolved into this branding focus,
Hmm.
website focus, because I was seeing a lot of different brands that I was working with. I was working with agencies, kind of almost like a
Sure.
freelancer, working with in-house
Yeah.
teams and things like that. And you would be surprised at a lot of the bigger brands that maybe you know of
Hmm.
that don't have like brand guidelines and don't
Mm.
have the things that I come from a corporate
Sure.
background. So I
Okay.
worked in, in-house teams as a designer
Hmm.
for over a decade. And so I'm used to understanding brand
Hmm.
guidelines and working within understanding like what the design scope should look like
Yeah.
within a brand. And I was always blown away with how far companies are coming without these brands.
Yeah.
But it becomes a problem because when they're coming together with any kind of marketing issues or they're
Hmm.
trying to figure out those things, which I was kind of in those positions with these agencies, was trying to figure out solutions
Hmm.
to issues that they were finding with, getting into Costco or getting into Target,
Oh.
those types of things.
Hmm.
Having a book of their brand to understand how we can show them in a consistent
I
way
see.
so that people will recognize them elsewhere outside of those
Right.
those those stores. And that's really important, especially when you're up that high, because people need to recognize this brand
Yeah.
to make sure that they keep coming back to it and they trust it.
Yeah.
There's a level of trust and value that people put into seeing consistency
Yeah.
with those things.
Okay.
And I mean, just thinking about when you go to a website to buy and purchase things, if it doesn't feel consistent or like trustworthy, you're like, this feels kind of,
Mm,
you know, kind of sketchy. I don't know if I want to put my money here. I don't know if I want to
yeah.
put my credit card in. So like having a good, strong foundation with your creative is really important. I'm
Mm.
sorry, I forget the original question that you
No, I
gave
love
me.
where you took us. I love where you took us. Have you ever seen Mad Men before?
Yes, a
Okay.
little bit.
Who were you in Mad Men? What department were you in?
See, I I don't know
All of them.
Mad Men that well. I'm only seen like a couple of episodes. I mean, I love John Hamm, period. So I think like,
Like, what a
I
sweet
mean,
spot.
but John, I know he's like kind of a,
Yeah.
you know,
Like,
a dirty guy,
he is.
but
He's got some things to work on, but I mean, so
yeah,
do we all.
yeah. But I love John
Yeah.
Hamm,
I
period. So I
imagine
mean,
you as Peggy Wheeler.
okay,
Just because you were very aware of what was needed foundationally, but like you had to like kick some ass to like get people up and moving around. I
yeah,
don't know why, I see that for you. But I love where you took us because consistency keeps coming up. Consistency
mhm,
and recognition. And
yes,
when you start a business, I think the other side of it, people say, none of that matters. Like, just hit the ground running. And that might be true in the beginning.
hmm,
But I think if you want to continue to grow and have repeat customers, you want
yes,
people to think your name and your brand. And what does brand mean? I mean, you're saying
yeah,
logo, you're saying website, you're saying your story. So
yeah.
all that in mind, what's kind of a common mistake that a common branding mistake that you see with new entrepreneurs or even seasoned ones?
Yeah,
Love this.
so like as we're talking about consistency, super important, right?
Mm-hmm.
But part of that consistency is telling a story of authenticity and who you are. And so one of the things we talked about a minute ago was people are looking to hire or work with the person
Yeah.
or the like connect with that person they're working with. And it's really important, specifically now with AI and everything that's going on and everything so generic,
Right.
that we find ways to be more human in our
Mm.
marketing and communicative about who we are and what we believe in,
Mm-hmm.
because people are putting money towards things that they believe in and that they trust. And so it's value-based marketing essentially. And so you're communicating who you are. And so when we're thinking about branding and marketing, one of the things that people kind of miss or skip over when they're initially starting out and they're building a brand themselves in the beginning, which I think is okay. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And I think that I, as my ideal client is someone who isn't coming, from the very beginning of their start, because your brand changes, your company changes as you start, your idea of what it is different and your ideal clients are different. And so when I'm thinking about branding, I'm thinking about a strategic way of coming up with your color palette and your logo, because we're attracting the right clients for you, the people that you want to work with or are your ideal people to work with. There is a science behind that and thinking about what's going to attract them. So when you're not considering your mission, your core values, your ideal audience, like your avatars, those are the things that kind of mislead your branding. A lot of times people are like, I just want to pick pretty colors that feel like me, which there's a piece of that in your branding, and we want to make sure that it's pretty and we want to make sure it feels like you, but it also should represent or attract the right people as well. So I think that's the biggest mistake, is thinking that branding is just, it has to look good. It's more than that. It's a deeper value than that.
It's more than vibe.
Yes.
What are you talking about? That's crazy. I love that. I think people can they take that and run with it. So when we first started as an accounting firm, my CFO, who's my best friend, and I were like, who do we want to work with? Like, what are we good at? And we both come from a construction accounting background. And so we thought, let's just work with the trades. Like her and I cuss a lot. We speak their language. We can get dirty. We'll hang out in shops. And so we thought, let's just make everything black and white. Very easy. Accounting's black and white. And then on our logo, let's put a bandsaw, because then that will make construction people think, oh, they know tools. And then we added some trees for the vibe, right? That did not do what we thought it would. Shocking, right? And so people were like, are you a lumber company? Are you like chopping trees down?
Exactly.
So it does matter. It really does matter. And you're saying you're not building the brand necessarily what you like. You're taking the science of how to attract the people you want to work with. Is that right?
Yeah. So when we initially, in our first step, when I'm doing my brand board in a week with my clients, we're typically doing, on the first day, I'm looking at their questionnaire, their answers of, who they like to work with, what they're trying to do. And then I'm breaking down a mood board, but I come up with avatars for the people that they want to work with. Okay. So I'm coming up with like names, like the income where they live, like what are their interests, what are the brands that they're interested in, and what do they trust. Gotcha. And so that might be brands that are outside of competitors or things that maybe fall in line the same industry. It's just a way for us to understand what are the design looks that they're trusting right now. What are the things that they take into their like purview of things that they trust and believe. And so when we look at those things and look at the designs of those brands, we're able to kind of dissect, okay, well, we know that these avatars are interested in these things, and that's how it aligns with these mood boards that we're trying to put together to kind of feel in line with that industry. And so it's kind of a mix match of things. It's looking at what other people that they want to work with are interested in and what they trust, and then also kind of matching it with like a style that feels genuine to them. So
there's so much more going on behind the scenes than you want to work with the trades, put a bandsaw on your logo. And I love that. How do you think color and font choices, because when I mentioned we just did a rebrand, and the person we were working with, obviously I didn't know you. The person we were working with, this cute girl, that she had like kitty cat pink headphones, and she was asking us, about fonts and colors and, how we wanted those to impact the way that our brand was perceived. And when she was asking us about fonts specifically, she said, go to like Google Fonts and like look through all these fonts. And I was like, I have no idea why this matters. I just want Times New Roman. And she was like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
So she's like, you don't want Times New Roman and you don't want black and white. How do you think that kind of detail can affect the way that your brand is perceived? It seems so tedious.
Tedious to the untrained eye for sure. I think it's I think it's something that they're fonts when you're picking out fonts, especially for my experience. I'm looking at fonts that are readable,
Yeah.
that are easy for people to understand. But then I'm also thinking about how they relate to the message that we're trying to evoke. So there's a friendliness about like rounded fonts. If you have a serif font that is like rounded and things like that. Like think about it, soft, round. It's not going to be
Right.
harsh and
Yeah.
sharp. So there's a more techie feel about things that are blocky and kind of more, there's
Okay.
there's a different
Yeah. I
vibes
love the vibes.
to different fonts that we choose.
Okay.
So when we're thinking about fonts, Google Fonts is a great place to go because they're all free
Yeah.
and they're also web safe.
Oh.
So when you're using any kind of builder for your website,
Yeah.
you're able to get Google Fonts for free on your website, and they will look great in
Okay.
any kind of platform. So that's a great place to go to make sure that your fonts are web safe.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like to go to like the font and those free
Yeah.
font, outlets and things,
Yeah.
which is fine, I guess, like if you're doing any kind of styling or designing with your logo. But when it comes to thinking about your fonts that you're using for your marketing and your everyday pieces and your writing out stuff, you want to make sure that it's easy to read, that it's
Yeah.
something that's going to look great on web. I am a very digital forward person, so I'm always thinking about your website.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
Google Fonts is always a really great place to go because they are free
Right.
and they're super accessible.
Okay. And it does matter because I know it matters now. You don't know what you don't know. And
Yeah.
yes, some the softness to the way that the letters look. Do you
Yes.
want people to look at you as approachable, as nurturing, as caring, depending on your industry? If I
Yeah.
am a plumber, um, and do I want to seem like I'm gonna hold your hand while I fix your toilet? I don't know. But for me,
Right.
we're dealing with people in a very intimate, level that they have to trust us. So it makes
Yeah.
sense why she was like, you don't want Times New Roman. Like, I
Right.
promise you don't. We want to be
Yeah.
approachable.
Yeah. Is your brand more feminine? Is it
Right.
masculine? Like that type of thing. And
Okay.
even though, like you are a female, because you're attracting males, like, do you
Yeah.
want something that feels a little bit more masculine?
Right.
So there are things there that you want to consider when thinking
Yeah.
through your font. Sure.
Yeah. And we didn't think about any of that in the beginning. But I love that you said your ideal client is not necessarily someone just starting, because
Yeah.
you, when you first start, maybe not everybody, but for us, we were the yes people. We work with everyone. We don't
Hmm.
know who our
Right.
ideal client is yet. We don't know. I probably wouldn't have been able to answer some of those, avatar questions, because I didn't have enough people that I had worked with to say this, not that. So
Hmm.
ideally, once you are a little more seasoned, you start changing and you start saying, okay, not this, definitely not
Yeah.
this, but now this. So you'll feel this pull. I need to start thinking about who I want to work with, and that's where branding can help attract those people.
Yep.
And I love that, because I just we've we say we matured um, from the bandsaw. And when I brought my CFO in on some of the calls, she's very operations, and so we shared a Pinterest board, and we were like, whatever speaks to you? And she's like, nothing speaks to me.
Mm.
I just want to talk operations. So it was a lot of like soul searching for me.
Yeah.
how can a business stay on brand without feeling repetitive or boring? Um, when I with our brand rebrand, it was I kept saying I'm just an accounting firm. Like I'm not trying to like stand out, but I also want to be memorable. I'm not trying to be like I'm the accountant that's not like anybody else, but I want to be trustworthy. So
Yeah.
how can they stay on brand, not feel boring? Where's that balance? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So I am very much in the business of not making things boring. I am very much in the business of making sure that people do stand out. And I know
Okay.
you said you don't want to stand out, but I think you might mean something different than where I take it. I think when I think about standing out, I think about standing out against your competitors and making sure
Mm,
that you're differing yourself.
yeah.
You're putting yourself in a place where maybe other people haven't put themselves in.
Sure.
Um, and maybe communicating in a better way.
Yeah.
And I think specifically when I think about, accounting firms, there isn't a lot of design thought behind those types of brandings. There isn't a lot of, yeah, like there's not a strong brand foundation, I'll say,
Yeah.
with a lot of those. And so I think for you, just putting an investment into that is helping you stand out,
Mm,
period. Having thinking about it, that's a standout
yeah.
moment right there. But I would say when it comes to being consistent with your brand, it doesn't have to be boring.
Mm,
When I work with my clients, I'm giving you guidelines, I'm
okay.
giving you your colors and all the things like we just spoke about, but you are able to take those things and be creative with them.
Yeah.
There are no boundaries really outside of making sure that people are able to read the font, that you're the colors on top of the backgrounds, and
Yeah.
that they're able to see what you're trying to say. You can do endless amounts of designs. I'm giving you sometimes
Yeah.
illustrations and textures and stuff to play around with. So those things are giving you elements that make it feel more expressive in
Okay.
different places. You don't have to use everything all at once. You can use them differently all over the place.
Yeah. I tend to be an all or nothing girl. So it's like, I'm glad that it's not all up to me anymore. That I have people that are like, this is the primary, and then this is the secondary, and then this is on white background. I'm like, you do you. Like, I just want like
Yeah.
flowers and sparkles everywhere. So I'm glad that they take the reins and it's not just based on vibes anymore. So I mentioned that I think I have an all female business. It
Oh,
is
cool.
when you work with us, it's all women.
That's amazing.
But that doesn't mean we only work with women. So,
Hmm.
what's your process for helping women-owned businesses find their brand identity without, and again, the voice memo I was making last night, I was speaking from our very recent experience of this rebrand
Hmm.
without feeling like, oh, I need to lean into my feminine nature.
Hmm.
I think as a woman owned business, this is our situation. Having an all female team that a lot, because we spoke to several brand people before we chose one, and they
Hmm.
were all like, lean into your feminine, like lean into flowers, which I love, but put pink in there, like put all this, we didn't go that way because while we're in a all female business, like we don't want men to feel like we're saying come into our closet, let's play dress up.
Yeah.
You know, very
Right.
fun,
No,
but
yeah.
like how would you, what would your process be for helping women lean into maybe a more of a masculine situation with brand? Does that happen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are, in my questionnaire, a lot of times I'm asking, like, is your brand more feminine, more masculine? Sometimes it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they want to be more feminine and they want to be really bright and
Yeah.
pink and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I actually, funny that you say that. I used to work in the motorcycle industry. I worked for a motorcycle accessories company, and
Fun.
a common term for women's like gear
Yeah.
was make it and shrink it. And so they would just turn everything pink and make
Yeah.
it smaller. And I always thought that that was such a
Really?
like why? Like that's what men think that
Yeah.
women's like stuff
If
is
you just
pink.
put pink on it, of course we'll buy it.
Exactly. It's like put a bird on it. So yeah, for when we were so where was I going? I knew I was gonna forget if I started talking about that
Told
story.
you I just love talking. I just like to be here with you. If you're in, I filled out your questionnaire, and I'm
Yes.
saying, I'm probably in the middle. It's a
Yeah.
masculine type industry, but this is the situation.
Yeah. So um when you want to think about your demographic and who you are,
Hmm.
if it's something where you want to work with anybody,
Yeah.
we're thinking about colors that are going to attract all people and kind of
Hmm.
communicate more of your message of who you are. Thinking about, let's for example, if you're thinking about an organic food product, if you're selling some sort of um you know granola bar or
Yeah.
something like that,
Fun.
and you want it to feel really natural and clean,
Yeah.
we're thinking about those greens, the more neutral colors, maybe thinking about like more earthy type of things. We're kind of leaning more on that product
Yeah.
and what it's expressing rather than the identity of the
Yeah.
person that you're trying to get. We're not trying to make it more feminine or whatnot.
Yeah. Yeah.
My thought with working with women entrepreneurs was to help them escape that 9 to 5 and build their dream of working for themselves. As I mentioned earlier, I worked, in the 9 to 5 corporate life for over a decade and was working with it was a male dominated industry.
Sure.
Like I said, I worked
Yeah.
for a motorcycle accessories company and worked with a lot of men, and it was a great experience. However, as a female within a male dominated industry, it's really easy to see a lot less of an upward growth,
Mm.
even though we're doing great work. We're doing
Yeah.
more. The standards are different,
Yeah.
unfortunately. And I think it's a subconscious thing, but we end up feeling kind of like stomped down a little bit.
Mm.
And so I decided to take it out on my own and kind of help other women do the same thing. And to build their own table,
Yeah.
put themselves at their own table. And so that's kind of why I went in that direction.
Hmm.
And so when I work with women, it's not just about like, let's make it pink and pretty and sparkly.
Yeah.
Although there are some people that come to me and they're like, I want
I
that.
want all the
And
sparkle.
I'll
Yeah.
tell them like, cool, but
Yeah.
this is what it means.
Right.
But it's not about that. That's a piece of it. There are feminine colors that aren't
Yeah.
pink. There are ways to make things feminine without being,
In your
overly like
face.
specifically like generically
Yeah.
female.
I love that.
Um, but there is a balance,
Yeah.
right? So we have to think about how we can create brands that feel a little bit of both. And so
Mm.
that might be the color palette,
Yeah.
and that might be the typography, like we were just talking about,
Right.
the font choices,
Mm.
making them feel softer, but also maybe more classic so that they feel kind of,
It can go,
gender
yeah,
neutral.
it can go both ways. Like it's
Right.
it's not going to repel men, because my
Yeah.
font has a curve in it. It's like,
Right.
you know,
And normally, yeah, and it's not even just about the visuals too. It's the communication, like the
mm,
language that you're using as well.
sure.
So we talk about that a little bit. I'm not a copywriter by any means,
Okay.
but in our brand exercises in the beginning, we're talking about what type of language or what type of communication
Oh, okay.
these type of
How
people want to see.
how you're saying what you do. I
Yeah.
did realize, because my assistant does all of our copy, but she
Hmm.
tries to do it in my tone.
Yeah.
And while I say we had a bandsaw and trees on our logo, and I
Hmm.
thought like we're gonna be attracting the strong guys, all the trades, she was like, I'm gonna tell you, I've asked Chat to describe your tone. Like, what is Ashley's tone? And she's like, you're a dry, witty, approachable cheerleader. So a lot of electricians are not going to say, I want an accountant that's going to be cheering me on. Like, that is not normally what they're attracted to. So It's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
this is why we need a rebrand. Like, I don't know what we're doing. We're just doing our best. So I could tell we needed a rebrand, a refresh, because people were literally telling me we didn't your companies aren't communicating with each other. We didn't
Mm.
know that they are actually run by the same person. We were being told, so our old logo for the show was black with a hot pink lettering with a microphone. And it was really generic. I had someone on Fiverr make it. Like, it wasn't like I wasn't attached to it, but they were like, "That's not you at all. Like, you're,"
Mm-hmm.
and people were telling me that we see you like this. You're very rootsy. You're very bluegrass and all these things. That's how I knew I needed a refresh, because of how they weren't communicating and how
Mm-hmm.
that was stopping the show from becoming any kind of lead magnet to the firm. They were
Mm.
two separate entities.
Mm.
Now,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have really thought about that if people hadn't voiced that. So I think I'm
Yeah.
lucky in that way. But how
Yeah,
can
that's
you
awesome.
tell?
You got that
I
feedback.
know. I'm like, tell me more about what I can work on for
Yeah,
myself. I
great.
love self improvement. Tell me more. So it's funny. You just ask people, and they're like, "No, I'll tell you everything you need to work on." But how can you tell if someone needs a rebrand, or if someone needs a refresh of all the things that they're doing? Are there signs where you can tell?
Absolutely.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest tell for me is looking at the website
Hmm.
and looking and seeing how it's kind of unfolded across all the pages. Looking at the content, seeing how they're writing, the communication across the board. I mean, it's easy for me to spot when someone
Really?
can use a rebrand. Yeah. I have a lot of success finding clients through cold pitches because
Okay.
I am looking
Mm.
at brands that I want to work with
Yeah.
by identifying their core values, their mission, and things like that, but also looking at their website
Yeah.
and their social media platforms and kind of looking at everything that they have
Yeah.
and approaching them and telling them, this is where you're winning and this is where maybe you could improve. And these are some of the things that I can help you with. And I've gained a lot of success doing that because I am specifically finding my dream clients or the people that I want to work with and shouting them out because
Love
I'm shooting
that.
my shot, you know,
Yeah.
uh, because it's it's more fun for me
Hmm.
to give people the keys, like educate them because a lot of people don't understand the value of branding and don't see
No.
the need for it. Um, what I do, part of my experience and what I do with people is I'm guiding you, I'm coaching you through the creative experience and showing you how to
Yes.
make these things. Like you were saying, your designer kind of told you to go on Google Fonts
Yes.
and look for fonts.
Yes.
I'm not doing that. I'm
Hmm.
picking selections and I'm telling you why. This is why we should do this. And you know, we can definitely talk about changes and
Yeah.
edits. It's obviously not all up to me. It's a collaborative process. However, I'm coaching you and showing you why we're making the decisions we are. I'm giving you options and
Hmm.
showing you why we should make these
Hmm.
changes here and there. And so yeah, I think it's really important when I'm looking at these businesses, it's really easy for me to see the inconsistencies, like we were
Yeah.
talking about, staying consistent with your brand. The communication might be
Hmm.
off in different places. Um, and just overall the expression of the brand can be really flat sometimes. Like you might have the colors, you might have the fonts, but it could still feel really
Yeah. Is it all
bland.
talking? Is it all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not really
Mm.
communicating anything, you
I
know?
love.
So,
Oh, I love that you. I'm gonna. This was not one of my questions, but that's okay. I love that you reached out to the clients you want to work with. That seems. That's scary.
a lot of people question
I
that
mean,
form, but
I love it though.
and I'm doing it in a way that isn't because I know we all get the cold
So,
calls, right? We
so
all get
much.
the cold emails.
Yes.
I get them on LinkedIn and my
Yeah.
inbox, and it's like, ugh,
Yeah. Like,
you
just
just throw
get
it in the
out of here.
trash.
Yeah.
I am recording a Loom video. I am looking at, I have your website behind me. It's a personalized note to you and a video that kind of walks you through like what I like and what
Yeah.
we could change, and
Yeah.
it is a direct communication. I spend time on this
Well,
marketing effort.
yeah.
It's a heavy lift, but I do it because I want to work with these people
Yeah.
genuinely. I'm finding them through means that, of groups that I'm part
Sure.
of. I'm in a sustainable business network group in Philadelphia,
Mm-hmm.
which allows me to find all these people that believe in
Yeah.
people over profit, which is really kind of my thing.
Yeah.
And so I'm finding people that are aligned
Yeah.
with my beliefs, and
Mm.
I'm looking at their work and kind of seeing like, oh yeah, this could be something that I could help them with for sure.
I
And I find the
like
opportunities. Yeah.
um it's I'm gonna say bold, but it's kind of but I sometimes I don't mean that in a negative way because people are like, oh, that's bold. It's like, no, no, no. Like I mean that in like a really genuinely, that's so cool that you are finding those companies you want to work with, but also saying, here's a problem that I found and here's how I'm going to help you solve it. And
Yeah.
I love that because
Mhm.
most people would not be so self aware that they need this unless
Mhm.
people are telling them. Eh,
Yeah.
they're asking, or people are telling them, like, you need to work on yourself. And you're taking that work out and saying, here's what I found.
Yeah. And it's also, it's not phrased in a way as your stuff is the worst. I could definitely make this
Yes,
better.
right.
It's like, here's some ideas that I'm presenting to you.
Yeah.
If you want to take it and do it yourself, go for it. I
Mm,
can help you do it though. And this is how we
yeah.
can. And so, like, I am coming to these businesses and trying to give them value
Mm,
from the jump.
yeah.
I think it's really important that we are extending value all the time within our businesses, even if we're not getting any money from it.
Yep.
Um, and so, especially with what I do, I think marketing is the last thing that people are thinking about
Yeah.
or have the mind for or the time for. I mean,
Yeah.
even myself, I can totally, you know,
Yeah.
say that the same thing. It's hard to market
It
yourself, right? It's
is.
hard to make that time. And so for me, it's a way for me to kind of skip that nonsense essentially and
Yes.
just jump into your inbox and tell
Yeah.
you, hey, I can totally help you with this. This is, in the past, this is what I've
Oh
seen as results.
my gosh.
Um,
That Where were you like 6 months ago? I was like, people are
I know, I wish I would have found
I
you.
know. Like people are saying these things. I don't know what it means. They're saying that it's not communicating, but I'm the one that's like kind of the face for both of them. So it made me feel like, what am I doing?
And I think it's also really hard to find, a strong designer or someone that's going to work with you and cares. And that's part of like when I was saying flower buds, like
Yeah.
I want to really build connection with the
Yeah.
people that I am working with. Like
Mm.
I want to build a community of people that help each other.
Yep.
That's like kind of my vision. I'm trying to figure out a way to make sure that all my clients are able to connect with one another and
I like
work
that.
with each other. I think
Yep.
similar to what you were saying, Ashley, about, how you want to have a network of people that can help each other. And I think that's kind of what I want to do as well is make sure that people are able to find what they need.
Yeah.
And so,
The help they
um,
need. Because there's so much information. I think when I was thinking about brand, you just go to chat and you're like, tell me about my brand. But chat's not a good way to start it because chat is going to be your biggest fan, right? So they're going to be like, you're awesome. Don't, like, be you, at least my chat.
yeah,
And there's an information overwhelm
yeah,
when you are diving into the internet and you think, I'm going to find my answers out here. I'm going to go to Pinterest. I'm going
hmm
to look online. I'm going to find these things. Then you get overwhelmed and then you get that analysis paralysis. So then you don't do anything. So
yeah,
I love that you're approaching people. You're taking all that out. Like I
yeah.
have a bajillion mood boards because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to communicate. Yes.
Totally. Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah.
glad I did.
That's one of the things that I really want to do. Like I said, I want to coach you through it
Yeah.
and I want it to be a collaborative process.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people aren't able to kind of distinguish, like with ChatGPT, like you're saying, it can be very generic. There's no way to
Yes.
stand out with that. Like any feedback it's going to give you, it's not going to be creative.
Yeah.
And so like creativity cannot be replicated by a robot, period.
Period.
Like sentence,
Yeah.
like that's it. Like you cannot make that replication. And so you want to make sure that you are thinking
Yeah.
with your own brain. And I truly believe that every person is creative. They just, have lost it along the way through like societal norms and
Yeah.
needs. And so that's okay. But my job is to like pull the creativity out of you and like work with you and meet you where you are. And so we communicate in a way that helps you understand what it is or why you're making the decision you are, because a lot of it is subconscious.
Sure.
And the things that you become attracted to, you're like, why do I like this
Yeah.
so much? Why is it that I want
For
this?
sure.
So I'm trying to help you like uncover that
Yeah.
and show you why.
I love
So
that.
it becomes more helpful.
Yeah, because I did keep saying over and over, like, I'm not super creative. Like, my husband accountant, and she's like, I just want to know what you like. I'm like, I don't know. I
Yeah.
like long late night walks on the beach. I don't know. So cool. I love that. I love that you can help people kind of pull that out. And
Mhm.
there's definitely a lot of information out there, but it can feel very overwhelming.
Mhm.
What is one simple branding improvement that really any business owner can make today? If they're listening to this and they're like, I don't really know what my brand is, like number one, that you need to work on yourself. But what's one
Yeah.
thing that maybe they can do to start improving it?
Yeah. So, first thing, before I say anything else, and say this in my workshops, is progress over perfection. Like, just one thing, don't do it all, you can't boil the ocean. But the first thing I would say, if you have a website, first of all, have a website,
Yeah.
period. But if you have a website, make sure your hero on your homepage, which is the first piece of your website, when you come to anyone's homepage on a website, that first section at the very, very top, that is your identifier. That is your elevator pitch. That is the strongest piece. It should have something called an H1. It's a header one.
Yep.
And that tells Google, like AI, it tells all of the internets
Yep.
about who you are and what you're doing. So that H1 should be should be short and easy to understand, and it should should have keywords of
Okay.
what people are looking for with your business. Um,
Okay. Make it
that's
easy
kind
for
of
people to figure out who you are and what you're doing in three
yes.
seconds.
If there's one thing to get right on your website, that hero should be it.
Okay.
That is super, super important. And I tell people that all the time, that your hero is above all the most important part of your website. So yeah,
Hero.
make sure that you have a great headline, and then you can have subhead or
Yeah.
additional information to kind of give more detail. But your headline is important. It should be short, concise, and detailed.
I love that. I'm
Yeah.
thinking of our website, like, is that what we did? Is that why they were like, we need more pictures of you? Because now I'm understanding what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that. So
Mhm.
if people want to work with you, everyone needs to work with Nikki. There is a quiz that they can take. Is that correct?
Mhm.
A branding quiz?
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
you can kind of see where you are within the process, right?
Okay.
To understand what are the next steps that you can take. So this is without even having to work with me. You can have an understanding of the things that you can do today
Yep.
to make changes. Kind of like what we just talked about.
Yeah.
You can look and see, answer the questions, and it'll give you a bulleted list of the things that you can do today to make improvements on your brand or your website,
Okay.
to kind of just make things a little bit better on your own
Yeah.
DIY.
Do all
So you
roads lead to Nikki?
yes.
I mean, I'm not
No,
mad about that.
hopefully, my place is to be there to help you,
Okay.
right? To, like, if we can't do everything ourselves, and it's hard for us to get everything accomplished. And like I said, progress over perfection,
Right.
it takes time. But if you're looking to get it done sooner rather than later, or if you want someone to do it for you, that's what I'm here for.
That's where you're
I'm
welcome.
going to show you, I'm going to give you the keys.
Yep.
But like, if you want me to do it for you, I'll do that too.
I will outsource the hell out of multiple parts of the business. I've realized that now. I have been in that place where maybe you're a one-man show and you think, well, I have to do it all myself. No one can do it like me, or
Right.
no one can describe my brand. I'm the only one that can do that. And I will tell you, it halts growth when you think you have to be the one to do everything. And the minute I hired my first hire, which is our CFO today, my best friend, my business started growing the next day. So highly, highly recommend outsourcing this part of your business. It's okay to not be good at
And everything. Yeah.
It's not a failure. We need help. We need people like Nikki to pull those things out of us. We're going to put that quiz, Nikki's brand improvement quiz, in the show notes so people can take it. I'd love a quiz. Like, tell me what kind of chapstick I am. Tell me, what my dream husband looks like. And I mean, I'm already married, but I'd like to know what my dream husband looks like. So we'll put that quiz in the notes for people to kind of get a hold of where they are. I definitely didn't realize how much we needed a rebrand until we got said rebrand, and I thought, oh my gosh, like, this was a no-brainer. I should have done this a long time ago. So we're going to put all that information in the show notes. I'm so grateful I got to talk to you today and pick your brain. This stuff is foreign language to me, but I do love it, and I am so grateful that you took almost an hour of your day to chat with me.
Yeah, I appreciate you too. This was a great conversation. Super, super fun. And I'm sorry if I got a little nerdy there, but that's just,
Oh my gosh.
this is,
No, I was
love
in
it.
chills. Yes, tell me the details. No, I love it. I love when people really, I can tell there's like a look in their eyes. Like when people get on, they're kind of nervous, even if they're a seasoned guest, it's still a little nerve wracking. I'm a stranger, but there's a look that kind of shifts where they're like, this is what I want to talk about. Like, yes, got it. And I can tell this is you. This is, this is your jam, your realm, your zone of genius. And as a very black and white person, we need a lot of Nikki's in the world. So we need you to gray it up for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Well, I will definitely, we'll put that stuff in the notes, but I will add you to the virtual Rolodex. I get asked a lot from clients that, because we get seasoned business owners, and so that means they're getting a hold of their money, and then they start having more free time during their day. Free time's a weird word. They realize they don't have to cram all of their bookkeeping and accounting into a weekend. They don't have to do their day-to-day data entry, and it frees up brain space for them to think about things like brand. They now are not struggling to invoice their clients and, do their bank reconciliations and all their admin work. And now they take a step back and they think, I want to grow and I want my brand to grow with me. And it just kind of gives them a little more space to think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this will be such a great addition to them. We help people all over the country. So, this is a no-brainer. So thank you so much for gracing the stage with your presence today.
Yeah, you were awesome, Ashley. I really appreciate this interview. It was awesome.
If I could do it all over again, there'd be no wish I would, should have been. Spend more time with my family and friends. If I could do it all over again, I'd wake up early and start